Hello, everybody. Welcome to Byju's. This is Abhilash here, and this is a very special session that we are conducting for those who have decided to drop a year and give JEE Mains 2022 once again. Right? So, as far as this session is concerned, this is aligned with our motto that you have to come and fall in love with learning if you really want to succeed. So, at this point in time, you are probably in a stage where you might be tensed a bit, worried a bit, maybe a bit disappointed about what you went through in this last year. We at Byju's are here to see to it that all of your tensions and confusions can be taken away and we can go ahead with this 1 year of preparation in a proper strategic way so that you can reap maximum benefits out of this drop year. So, my name is Abhilash. I studied in IIT Bombay. I myself am a dropper. This is the reason why I wanted to take this session with you guys. The first time I gave my JEE in 2002, I had a rank somewhere close to 2,800, somewhere close to 3,000. And I decided to drop a year partly because my parents believed really that I could do way better. Even though, as a student at that point in time, I was scared. I was like, okay, I gave this 1 year. I studied really hard. Maybe I worked and I probably got the best rank that I did, and I was not very sure I should drop. But my parents were really convinced. I gave the paper again and I got a rank of 143. So I thought maybe I should come and discuss with you what is the strategy, what is the approach that you can have so that you can benefit most from this year that you have decided to drop, right? So before we go into details, I want to briefly discuss a story with you just to tell you the importance of persevering, just to tell you the importance of persistence and determination. So I am going to speak about somebody whom you really know well, whose movie also you might have probably seen. You can see a woman with a broad smile carrying India's flag very proudly. Who is this person? This person is Mary Kom, right? What is she famous for? Of course, she's like world famous amateur boxer, a lightweight boxer who has the maximum number of world championship, titles against her name, male, female, all inclusive. She has the maximum number 8 titles. She had, obviously she was awarded Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan by our country. That is because of the success that she managed to achieve because of her determination. So what is the story behind her? I'm sure you know this. She was born into a poor family. Her parents were farmers. Her father, even though was a keen enthusiast about wrestling, still they had their own problems because of which she was not very sure she should be going into this. A gold medal in a 1998 Commonwealth was something that motivated her to work in this direction, and something that she had to even hide from her parents till she got a state boxing champion title. That is when her parents got to know more, and then they encouraged her further, seeing her passion for this. So why am I telling you this story? Because the fact that she went through a lot of tension, self-doubt and all of this, lot of difficulties and hardships, and still managed to make India proud is a story that should be there in our heart when we are going ahead with this decision to drop a year. Why? Because it is a very important decision. You might be having a lot of tensions and all, and you might be second guessing whether or not you should, this is a good decision. But this is where we are going to help you. We'll help you strategize and we'll give you a direction so that your attempt will be successful, right? So introspection wise, why are we here? Why is it that we have to drop a year? The reasons could be many. Each student has a different story, a different background, a different analytical skill altogether, different circumstances under which students have given the paper, right? So stress is something that gets to everybody, right? And that is something that is detrimental to our performance. Stress and pressure could be a reason why you had like issues juggling school and coaching at the same time, right? Going to school, traveling to school, coming back from school, going to tuitions, going to coaching classes. Maybe time management issues might have propped up. Plus also the focus is also different, right? Schools have very different approach towards topics, we have very different approach towards topics. Competitive exams even like have intermingling topics and all, which is normally not that prevalent in school. So there is a significant difference in the type of questions, because of which there could have been a significant lack of practice. The right kind of questions have to be attempted, the right approach should be there. That is when you will be able to do better, right? So lack of time is, it all boils down to lack of time. I mean, see, the thing is that as far as competitive exams are concerned, the topics that are there, nothing is impossible to understand for a 11th standard, 12th standard level student. Nothing is impossible. It's just that you have to give some time dedicatedly into each of these. When a teacher introduces you, it's possible that the teacher did not introduce it in the best possible way. The different dimensions from which you have to approach a concept probably were not very clear. Maybe it's possible that teacher taught well, but you were not able to focus because of some other tension, some other family commitments were there, you missed out on classes. Anything could be the reason. But the point is that now that you have seen that you have gone through this year, you have missed out on some things, you know where your shortcomings are. If you are going forward, what should be your focus, that has to be reevaluated. So that is where we are coming into picture, right? So where to focus, this is very important. Focus on this. These are very general in nature, but very important to understand them nonetheless. Build strong concepts, all the concepts involved. As I was telling you, none of these are impossible to grasp. It's just that you need to spend more time into it and absorb it into your heart. For that, you have to spend time with it, read it from different sources, read the concept from different sources in such a way that you have a clear understanding. How do you know you have a clear understanding? If you can explain it to somebody in simple words, that tells you that your preparation is really good, right? So build concepts really strongly. Proper revision should be there, right? So you study something this year, 10-20 years down the line you won't be able to solve questions based on it, right? So revising is very important. Even in this 1 year, if you like, there is one topic be really good, you're really good at it, but even then if you don't revise, you don't solve questions periodically from there, you might not be able to crack question from there. So proper revision is very important. Strategize very, very clearly, right? So I'll get more into details of this about what should be our strategy to different concepts based on what is your current level of preparation. I'm coming to that very soon. But yeah, daily practice. You have to practice daily, right? You can't say that, okay, for the next 9 months, I'm going to constantly keep reading. And then the last 1 month, I'm going to solve a lot of questions. And then I'll be able to succeed. Not going to happen. Very important for you to understand that you have to work consistently, right? So it's like, any other competition. So you have to have that regular work going on. Otherwise, you will not be able to succeed. Challenge yourself every now and then, right? So then the thing is that you have to monitor your syllabus. This is something I want to spend some time on. Point is, see, each person has a different strength altogether, understanding ability, plus circumstantially some teachers might have taught you some topics really well, some topics might not be that very clear to you. So obviously looking at the entire syllabus and identifying the different topics, different chapters which you are strong with, which you are average strong with, and which you are very weak with, you have to identify these chapters and prioritize. When you are starting off, when you are right now that your memory is really fresh and your determination is really strong, tackle the tougher chapters first. Identify the chapters that you really did bad and identify them, attack them right now, and see to it that you're giving a lot of tests from here. Why is testing important? Because obviously that is the final aim, right? You're going to give a test. Before the test, you should have a lot of tests that you have given, and in these tests also, don't get dejected if you score less, or don't get hyper happy if you score really well. Your only aim should be that whatever questions you did not get, you identify the concepts involved, you identify the chapter involved, you revise that topic, and you attempt those questions again. So whatever question you did not get in any test, if you consistently keep doing this, that you are revising again that particular topic from that question again and again and again, this will lead to success. This is the only mantra that all your toppers follow. Right? So test analysis, understanding how you did in the test really well and not confusing yourself, is going to be very crucial if you want to succeed. Right? So this is the most important strategy as far as toppers are concerned. They do smart work and not just hard work. Smart work is more important. Identify things. It's a common observation that students pick up like a few chapters which they are more comfortable with. They keep practicing and getting better and better and better again at that particular chapter. That is not important. That is not what is required. What is required is that you work smartly. When we go forward, when we see the different questions coming from different chapters, how many questions came from different chapters, which are the important chapters and all, if you try to find out, what you understand is that JEE Mains has a almost equal distribution of questions from all chapters, which means all of them have to be really good for you. Right? All the chapters should be really clear to you. So it's very important that you approach your studies for this year smartly. You identify the most difficult ones and tackle them initially, and somewhere down the line, just before the exam, you should be more or less comfortable with all the chapters. That is going to be very crucial. Right? So focus on progress, continuously monitor your progress that is there, marks improvement, speed improvement, accuracy improvement. All of these you have to keep monitoring. Keep pushing yourself. Don't cut slack. I mean, if you have an exam that somewhere down the line you do really well in, and then you don't study for 1 month celebrating that one test that you did really well, it might just so happen that that 1 month is going to cost you very dearly in the final exam. Don't do that. But yeah, be confident, be cheerful, be happy. There is no point in taking a lot of stress. If you're really stressful, you will not be able to give the paper in the most efficient sort of way. So be confident, keep pushing yourself, and be very strategic in your approach. Right? So what are the pros and cons of dropping? So when you are dropping, right, let me attack the cons first. Right? So I myself went through it. That situation that that I don't have those 2 years in front of me. I have like a limited time now where I have understood that the syllabus is actually way bigger than what I initially thought. In the sense that when you are in school, when you are studying what school people are teaching you, what you would see is that, okay, these are simple topics. These are simple topics. Okay, this is a simple chapter. This is what you might feel. But now that you have given JEE, when you look back, oh my God, there are so many more things in this chapter, so many more concepts in this chapter, so many more ways of building good questions from this chapter. Now, looking back, you know that the syllabus is actually way more bigger than what you thought back then. Plus, you have less time. So, this is one thing that is their disadvantage. Plus, peer pressure. A lot of friends of yours might already be in college, so that pressure is there. You're also looking at your juniors who are in 12th and they are also preparing. So, there is a lot of peer pressure that is there. It is very important that you don't look at anybody else. You look at yourself. Look at your progress. If you are doing better every day, if you are, as I told you when I was speaking about the syllabus, have a whole list of all the chapters, all the concepts, and all the micro concepts, and that checklist should be there with you. You should be able to tick, okay, this concept I know, this concept I know. Let's say from atomic structure, Bohr model I know. Okay, then the Schrodinger equation and all I know, the wave mechanical model I know. Then you go on to, let's say, thermodynamics. Okay, I looked at all the adiabatic and all of these, isothermal, isobaric, all of these, expansion, compression, all of these, I'm very clear. Thermochemistry, I'm very clear. Okay, I'm looking at entropy change and Gibbs energy angle, I'm very clear. You look at the chapter, then you go to another chapter, all the micro concepts and all, you should be able to tick all the concepts against your name. You should be comfortable with all of them. As long as you are improving your concepts, as long as your speed is improving, as long as your understanding, knowledge base is improving, don't look at others. It's not at all important that you look at others. You just look inward, you look at yourself, you're doing better, be happy, right? Then going forward, fear of failure. obviously you just gave the paper, you know that you had a brief stint with a kind of a failure right now, right? Do you have to get dejected? No, it's okay. Everybody else is also on the same page. Everybody who's dropping is on the same page. There is no point in fearing the exam, right? It's just that you have to prepare better, devote time to the things that you did not manage to learn really well in the last time, and this time it will be way better, right? So what are the advantages of repeating? What are the cons of pros of repeating? The point is that your performance will definitely improve with age. Maturity comes through with more exposure to better questions and attempting a lot of questions and building exam temperament, giving so many test series and tests in the exact test condition that okay, in this 3 hours I'm going to give this paper. When you keep doing that, you will notice a definite improvement in your performance, definite improvement in your approach towards questions, definite reduction in time taken to solve questions, definite improvement in accuracy, and so on, right? So opportunity to improve rank, of course, that is what we are living for. I went all the way from around 2800 to 143. I'm pretty sure all of you can do this as well, right? It's only that you have to work consistently towards that direction without looking at others and randomly, picking up strategies from random people. Just look at yourself. You are a separate human being. You have different advantages and disadvantages that you have. You have different strengths and weaknesses. Accordingly, make your own strategy. Don't worry about others. Yeah. And don't repeat the same things that you did previously. If that would have worked, you would have already gotten into IIT. If that did not work, that means that you have to have a different strategy this time, right? Knowledge improvement, of course. Maybe in the first attempt you were like, okay, maybe I understood this okay decently well, let me attempt questions, I'm solving questions, okay, that should be enough. But when you repeat, when you get more time, when you look at things from different sources, when you look at the concept from different angles, you understand that you have a better grasp of things. Even if JEE twists and turns the concept and tweaks the theory a bit and asks you a complicated question, even then you will be able to handle it if you are not somebody who just randomly by heart's formula and just go and sit there, right? So that is the idea. Now, as far as JEE main exam is concerned, of course, I'm going to quickly go through it. You have just given the paper. You know best about this. The exam is an online one where 3 hours would be there for where you have three subjects that you are tackling. Total number of questions that you had to attempt this year was 75 out of 90. You get 30 questions from each subject, of which you have to attempt only 25. I'll get into more details about this. Of course, NTA keeps changing things, so I can't promise you that exactly same thing would be there next year as well. It's anybody's guess. Let's wait and watch. But yeah, this is how it was this year. Out of the 30 questions per subject, 20 were MCQs, ABCD multiple choice questions, 10 were numerical questions where you had options. Out of those 10, only 5 had to be attempted, right? So, of course, all right answers would be fetching. I mean, of course, between the 3 subjects, you would be having 90 questions, and out of which you will only be attempting 75, right? Marks wise, in MCQs, if you go wrong, you get a -1, and in your numerical ones, even if you go wrong, you get 0. You don't get negative marks, but if you're right, you get 4 marks. In numericals, depending upon the question, there would be a range of acceptable answers. So approximation skill is something that is very crucial. I've seen a lot of students falling back just because of the fact that when you get like something like A, B, C into D, E, I mean, these are all numbers. If you are somebody who actually sits and does the whole multiplication and adding like this, then you are definitely doomed. It's very important to understand that you are not a statistician sitting for the paper. You have to approximate, you have to be smart. So this is the reason why practicing a lot of questions and being a daredevil when it comes to approximations. Right now, you're not giving the exam, right? Do wild approximations. See what your approximation does to your answer. Be very smart about it and understand what is happening because of each of your approximation. If you take things up a little bit, what impact it has on the answer. Understand this so that you can do smart calculation, not intense calculation. A range of answers are accepted in numericals. You should be able to score really well. right? So going forward, so yeah, of course, total marks that you could get was 300, 100 from each subject. 100 how? 25 into 4, right? So 11th, 12th division wise, more or less equal weightage is there. Normally, that is what is observed. NTA keeps JEE main in such a way that almost all chapters get equal representation. We will see somewhere down the line, we will be seeing this. Important thing to understand is that only around 10 to 15% of the questions are really tough. The rest 80-90% of the questions are relatively easy. Moderate around 30% and 50% up. 50-55% up is going to be really easy questions. If you don't break your head and get disappointed with these difficult ones, you should be able to easily score 85% of the questions, and that should be your aim for JEE Main. Advanced, different strategy. When we have to, at that point, we will discuss about the strategy for advanced. But for the time being, let's start with mains in our mind. Let's build a strong foundation first, where all concepts are decently clear to you. Then we will take it to an advanced level when we are ready for it. Well, for the time being, don't worry about it, right? So chapter wise, why are we looking at this? So that we can understand, okay, are some chapters important? Are some chapters not very important? To understand this from a JEE mains perspective, a lot of people say these chapters are important, these chapters are not at all important. I would suggest that all chapters can be important. You can never guess what NTA is up to, right? So like for example, in physical chemistry, you can see here 11 standard chapters, a mole and redox combined around. Okay, so you're seeing 15 questions in 2020 that is across different shifts. It's not in one paper that there are 15 questions, okay? But yeah, even then you can see redox plus mole concept, 15 questions between 4-5 sessions would mean that, okay, 5-6 sessions, you would get around 2-3 questions per session, right? So atomic structure, 1 or 2 questions. Your states of matter, 1 question. You will be getting 1 or 2 questions from thermodynamics. Equilibrium, ionic chemical combined, you will get 2 or 3 maximum. From 12th standard, you can see solid state, 1 question. Solutions, 1 or 2 questions. Electrochemistry, I'm just focusing primarily on the recent paper because of course that is a more clearer indication of what will probably happen, right? So electrochemistry, 11 questions, relatively important. Kinetics, 10 questions between different shifts, obviously important. Surface chemistry also, you're getting 10 questions. Surface chemistry, on the other hand, is like a relatively less calculation, easy solvable questions. As long as your concepts are very clear, you should be able to score well. So that was physical chemistry. So if you ask me what are the important chapters, all chapters are important. But between those, some are more important than the others. Electrochemistry, solution, kinetics, surface chemistry from your 12th. And I would say stoichiometry, thermodynamics from, and maybe equilibrium also from 11th, right? So in inorganic chemistry, if you see, periodic properties and chemical bonding are foundational chapters, hence very important chapters. Not a lot of questions comes directly from there, but still a lot of questions would have concepts involved from here, right? Then very important is your P block. Of course, P block is very important as far as inorganic chemistry is concerned. Coordination compounds, again, very important chapter as far as inorganic is concerned. Metallurgy, you end up getting 1 or 2 questions every year. D block, same, 1 question every year. So this is your inorganic chemistry. And in organic, again, foundational chapter GOC, general organic chemistry, is very important. Practical organic chemistry, maybe 1 or 2 questions. Again, that can be combined with mole concept based questions as well. Hydrocarbon is important, of course. Hydrocarbons is, I mean, hydrocarbons and derivatives is organic chemistry, right? So hydrocarbon is definitely important. One, you can see a big spike here. This is alcohols and ethers, then aldehydes, ketones. Your carbonyl compounds are also very important if you ask me. A recent development that you can see is that biomolecules, your environmental chemistry, chemistry in everyday life, a more contemporary bunch of topics, right? So more relevant to current date. These are chapters from where a lot of questions have been coming up from JEE mains, right? So these are information based. You can directly score fast from these, right? So if you, let's say, solve a question from thermodynamics, let's say that it's a tough question, you solve, you spend 5-6 minutes and your answer is not even there in the options, you're going to be dejected. But in these, your inorganic chemistry and organic, from organic also, there are many, obviously, where there are multiple steps involved. You have to think about major, minor, and all of these different reagents, different, that is there. But other than that, there are many direct questions also that come up. These are easy scoring chapters, and a lot of questions do come up in JEE Mains as well, right? So in hindsight, if I ask you, did you really do justice to your NCERT textbook? Most of the people would say no. They would have probably attempted a lot of questions from their coaching classes and all, but it's very, very important that you understand your NCERT. Why is that so? Because NCERT is the one where you get all of these easy scoring questions. All the information questions in organic chemistry almost entirely comes from NCERT, right? And your organic also, a lot of these biomolecules, as I was telling you, chemistry in everyday life, environmental chemistry, all of these questions are directly from NCERT. You don't waste time there, you score fast, right? So physical chemistry, yes, of course, it's a matter of pride that you want to solve the questions, but these are the easy scoring ones. So NCERT has to be very close to your heart. Very important that you remember this, that NCERT is your strongest help as far as inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry are concerned. Physical chemistry, of course, refer a lot of textbooks, get a lot of different type of questions that you can come across, all intellectually stimulating questions based on calculations and multiple concepts from different places, thermodynamics, atomic structure, all of these combined based questions can also turn up, right? But yeah, the easy scoring ones are NCERT. I've seen a lot of students make this mistake of skipping NCERT. Don't do this mistake. See to it that you are focusing on your NCERT if you want to crack your mains really well, right? So yeah, as I was telling you, what is it that we are going to do for you? Of course, going forward in different sessions, we will be looking at questions, different chapters, important topics that are not covered by different schools, important topics which will help you score really fast. We will be doing all of these, but this was our first introduction. We just wanted to say hi. We just wanted to say that don't be sad, don't be dejected. There are a lot of people who are exactly in the same state as you are, disappointed with themselves that obviously I could have done better. Maybe I should have done this more. Maybe I should have done a little bit more of this. Maybe I should have played less on my mobile. Maybe I should have probably done this or that. Maybe I should have listened to this relative of mine. Maybe I should have listened to that. All of these thoughts and all of these might be disturbing you at this point in time. We want to tell you that we are here to help you tackle all your issues. Don't worry, keep yourself stress free, tackle everything in a very smart way. First thing will be to set up a plan, right? So you have this 1 year ahead of you, and in this 1 year you have taken one decision that I will crack this exam, right? You have this 1 year where you can rectify all your past mistakes, right? So initial few months you will be in maximum steam, maximum motivation. I've seen droppers lose out on steam somewhere around December. Don't do that, right? Be very consistent, work really hard. Don't look at others, keep solving papers. Whatever you don't get in papers, whatever questions you missed out, attack them, keep attacking them. Speak to a lot of people, whatever theory, wherever you feel there is a gap in understanding. Explore, read from different sources, attack us, watch Byju's videos, go through all of these concepts, clarify them. How do you know that you understood a concept really well? If you ask me, I'll tell you, have an imaginary student you are teaching, right? I have realized when I started teaching that when you teach, you know best whether you know something or not. If you are going to teach, if you can explain it, a concept in simple language, you have understood it. If you can't explain it in simple language and you are like, okay, this is very complicated, let me give you an equation, this is the equation involved here, that means that you have not understood it. You probably know the equation, you have by hearted it, and you can attempt questions based on that equation, but if NTA tweaks the theory a little bit, you will be at loss. This is particularly more important for JEE Advanced than JEE Mains, but still, it's very important that you prepare things in such a way that your concepts are really strong, your base on which you're going to build all your knowledge is really strong, right? So this one decision that you have taken, We want to be your biggest support here. We are going, obviously our motto is that you should fall in love with learning, right? So how can you do that? If you are content with your approach as well, right? So we will help you in each step of the way. You keep shooting your doubts, your worries, your tensions at us. We are always there to help you out. And what is your one goal? Your one goal is to do your best in the JEE Main 2022, right? So we are going to be here always to support you, and this is my promise. With this, I bid adieu, I say goodbye, and I wish you a very successful year ahead. See you.